Hey, it's Jeff back with you. Welcome to the backyard. It's looking a little rough, as you can see. We're getting ready to do a lawn renovation. If you've ever wondered what exactly do I do to overseed my yard, well, you're gonna find out here soon. So step one of this lawn renovation is something I've been doing for a few weeks, and that's mowing at a lower height than what we normally would. Here you can see we're mowing at 1.5 inches, when typically we would mow at 3.5 inches. But the reason we're doing this, and I'm getting ready to mow again, is we want to knock down all of the weeds in the established turf and make sure that the new seedlings have a chance to grow and mature. Now, as you can see, this yard it's poor. There's a lot of weeds. There's very little established turf. To be quite honest, what we probably should have done here is just completely kill this yard off and start over. But time got away and things just didn't work out as planned, so we're gonna go with an overseeding, and we'll do some weed control later in the year, and hopefully we'll get this thing thickened up. All right, so step one is finished. The yard is down to 1.5 inches again. That's gonna create less competition for the new seedlings. Step two can be done a few different ways, but what you wanna do is you wanna create good seed to soil contact. So what I've done and what I would recommend is heading to your local tool rental store and getting one of these. This is known as a slit seeder or a power overseeder. And what this machine will do is it'll actually put grooves into the soil, and then it'll place the seed in those grooves to create that seed to soil contact. Now, the caveat to that is if you've never really run one of these before and it's not something you do all the time, trying to figure out the seeding rate could be a little tricky. And so in a former life, I used to run these quite a bit, but it's been a while and I don't know that I necessarily feel comfortable trying to figure out that rate. So what I'm going to use this machine for is just for the grooves that it puts into the soil. And then step three, I will show you how I'm going to overseed. All right, step two with the overseeder is finished. We're ready for step three, which is actually putting the seed down. I'm gonna do that with my rotary fertilizer spreader instead of using that overseeder. So again, the point of using that overseeder for me, because I wasn't comfortable trying to figure out the rate there, was just to put slits into the soil. That way the seed could make its way and get that seed to soil contact. And you may ask, what exactly does that look like? Well, here you go. So you can see here that I made a couple different passes, and you can see some slits in the soil. So again, the hope is that the seed will make its way down into that, have seed to soil contact, and we'll have some seedlings here soon. All right, so step three is my favorite part. We get to actually put out grass seed. So this is one of the steps that I think a lot of people might not do enough research on. Make sure that you know what type of grass seed you need for your yard. Mine, because it is full sun and has poor soil, I'm gonna go with a turf type tall fescue blend. There's 3 different types of turf type tall fescue in there. Your yard may not be the same, so make sure you do your research, figure out what's best for you. The way we're gonna spread this today is just using my fertilizer spreader. It's pretty cheap, basic fertilizer spreader, but it'll work pretty well. As far as what setting to put it on, I'm just gonna kind of go somewhere in the middle because I don't want to use too much of my seed up right away. I want to make perpendicular paths across my yard, so I want to seed this at least in 2 different directions. And by going somewhere in the middle, that'll allow me to do that, and I won't use all my grass seed up on the first pass. All right, I know you're dying to know, what did I pick for my yard exactly? So here it is. As you can see here, I did my research, and Found a blend that has 3 different types of turf type tall fescue in it. They all perform really well, and you can see on here that the germination rates are all really extremely high. You can also see that there's not much crop seed, there is no weed seed and no noxious weeds in this blend of turf type tall fescue. So if this one works for you, you know, I'd suggest it. If you've got full sun, some poor clay soils like I do, this will probably do well for you. But if you do have questions on what type of grass seed to use for your yard, contact your local extension office. All right, we're on to step 4. This one takes a little bit of imagination. So my imagination came up with this right here. You see this old mat? I found this at work. What that's going to do for me is that's going to really ensure that that seed reaches that soil and makes good contact. So by driving my mower all around the yard, dragging this mat behind me, I'm going to be able to ensure that that seed reaches that soil. All right, we're the last step. Step 5, just as important as the rest of them. What we're gonna do now is put down some starter fertilizer. You might ask, what exactly is starter fertilizer? So let's take a look. All right, so here's your starter fertilizer. It's gonna say clearly on the bag that it is a starter fertilizer. So the question was, what exactly is it? Well, we look a little further on the bag, and what we find is the key thing is right there. It is a 24-25-4 analysis. So what exactly does that mean? Well, it means this bag has 24% nitrogen, 25% phosphorus, and 4% potassium in it. This isn't exactly the analysis that I would like to have, but beggars can't be choosers, and this was the only starter fertilizer that I could find locally. So this will do. But the key here is that middle number, the 25% phosphorus. And what that's going to do is give these seedlings a jump start, and it's going to help with root development, and it's really just going to get them going this fall, probably over the next 3 or 4 weeks, and grow some nice healthy seedlings. Don't skip the starter fertilizer. It is very, very important. All right, so steps 1 through 5 are completed for the lawn overseeding program. Probably not exactly textbook. Timing was a little bit late, but due to some unforeseen circumstances, we had to go with a little bit later seeding here, but we're still within that window, so we should see some results here in the next few weeks. The last step, which I kind of left out, is we need some rain. So hopefully Mother Nature will help us out. If you have irrigation, I'm jealous. That'll be great resource. So we're going to rely on Mother Nature here, hopefully, and that'll help these seedlings germinate and develop over the next few weeks before winter. If you have questions, you might want to Google Purdue Turf. There's a lot of great resources on that website. There's a couple calculators that I used for this program, which would be the seed calculator and the fertilizer calculator. And then lastly, talk to your local extension educator and ask them questions, or contact me. I'm always available.